Hi everyone, welcome back. It's Boutiquey Swedish Whiskey Girl, and today we are back with our next day. What is our next day? 13? Oh, still can't remember. And yesterday we tried the Reservoir Bourbon, which is about £55 on Master Malt, I believe. Quite nice, that one. I'm still trying to decide if that soapy thing is nice. I mean, I did like it. And weird elements, I mean, I do like that, so I don't know. But today, I am still here with my Boutiquey Whisky company calendar. I almost said it. And today, we're going to have a look on our next day. So let's see if I can find it. Can I find it? There. And then see what is behind this door. Since so many of you have said that you enjoyed the blind kind of aspect of this, I'm going to keep it blind. We'll put that down. We'll put our little glass here so we can pour it. See what we're going to have today. Put that behind so I can't see it. And we'll have a little look on the nose. Ooh. Oh, and something I realized for the whiskey yesterday is that I have tried it before, and I've actually tried the different components. So the way they did with the Reservoir Distillery bourbon is that they've also bottled, I think it's wheat whiskey, rye whiskey, and corn whiskey, so that you should be able to buy the 3 different bottles and blend your own bourbon. So you have more than 51% corn, and then you can do whatever you want with the other ones, just kind of see what mash bill composition suits your palate. But the bourbon they have pre-blended. Yeah, nice one. But now on to this whiskey. This whiskey is it has a bit of a metallic note, a bit of a grit, almost like a coastal saltiness as well. Like a salty metallic note. But also a little bit of kind of pear fruitiness. It's quite green and clear. Quite emerald, I would say. I mean, it's quite a fresh and fruity palate when you get past that kind of grit. And Cody said yesterday, he's been watching the videos and he's like, oh, you always get stuck on a word, and I think right now it's grit or gritty. So, but I do think that explains it so well. It's like a little bit of a dirty note. Quite a little bit grass as well. Let's have a taste. Sláinte Skål. A little bit funky on the palate straight away. But then also quite fresh and fruity. And it's that kind of green fruitiness. So more apples on the palate. But also some recognizable grassy funk. Quite a rich and oily mouthfeel. And the grassiness is slightly bitter, but the whole experience is kind of that it's quite fresh. But then that grittiness, the grassy grittiness, grabs your tongue and just holds onto it. So the finish is still there. This is gonna sound weird, but it's almost like it's a bit like a Campbelltown sewer. I don't actually think it's like a Campbelltown sewer, but it's this kind of dirt and the almost Campbelltown oiliness that you can find sometimes. But I wouldn't be surprised if this was maybe an island or something. Should we have a look? I mean, it tastes a bit like a Scotch, but who knows? Oh, I wish I could have gotten this one. It's a Craigellachie 10-year-old. That's where it comes from. It's Craigellachie 10-year-old batch 7. It's a single malt Scotch whisky. It's 50.3% ABV, and if you don't know this, this is a whiskey that I have a bit of a relationship with. Craigellachie often is called this bad boy of Speyside. They use a different type of condenser to a lot of other distilleries. So they use something called a worm tub, which basically looks like a big worm that goes through a big vat of water instead of shell and tube, which is just basically tubes that go down into water instead, which gives you less copper contact and often more sulfuric and oily spirits. And I used to hate this, and I don't really use hate lightly. I used to not like this. I would tell you this was my least favourite whiskey of all time. But I have changed my mind, and I think Craigellachie is lovely. That is so funny. So the grit is sulphur, I guess. The nose is still a bit weird, so I wonder if I'm back to... It's so weird when this grit meets that... What's it called? Like the fruitiness, because it has such an alive, like, pears and apples and almost pineapple fruitiness. And this is the thing. I wouldn't say this is my favourite Craigellachie of all time. It is a little bit funky, but I am not going to lie about this. Knowing that it's Craigellachie makes it a little bit nicer for me. Not saying it wasn't nice before, but I was a little bit hesitant towards it because of that grit and that kind of Campbelltown sewer note of it. But that was a fun surprise. I mean, everyone's gonna have, unless you're one of those people who are really, really good at just separating your whiskey experiences, there's always going to be distilleries for me that, I mean, even if you might not pick them out in a blind tasting, or if all of the expressions isn't your favorite, some of the memories and some of your kind of experiences with that distillery and the whiskey is always going to kind of have a special place in your heart. So finding out this is Craigellachie is definitely making the experience a little bit more fun. But I would say it's probably not my favourite Craigellachie expression. Will I be sipping this until there's not one drop left? Yes, yes I will. I mean, if you like a bit of that grassy grit and Campbelltown sewer, or I guess this is a Speyside sewer, perhaps now, but it's, yeah. Interesting. I would love to hear your thoughts. Do you have a special distillery that, no matter your experience with it, is always going to have a special place in your heart? What's your thoughts on Craigellachie? Do you have a favourite one? And what do you think of this kind of sulphuric dart? I know that's not a good tasting note and it sounds not nice, but what am I going to say? It's an interesting one. And I am, of course, going to check what the price is on this one and talk more about it tomorrow. But I hope I'll see you tomorrow then, and I hope you're having a lovely December. Sláinte Skål.